You're with us here in Business Today. I'm Abhavakaya. Pradeep Gupta joining us today to discuss his views on markets. And we've seen a steady uptick through the week. So what's driving that? Let's understand best from him. Pradeep, even today, markets are looking pretty cheery as we close out the week and steady few sessions of gains. We have had earnings coming in thick and fast, a lot of news, particularly in IT. But let me first get the overall context from you and understand better what you feel are the factors at play currently.
Okay. Good afternoon, and thank you, Abha, for calling me and inviting me on this channel. Uh, my view is I think these markets always react on two count, and I always keep on talking to my investors, all the investors that one is short term and one is long term, and long term is always on fundamental, but short term is always in sentimental. And whenever you find that sentiments are changing and sentiments looks good, these markets start reacting positively and start showing certain amount of strength. And whenever there are sentiments which are not really conducive to the market and people are not really giving or probably happy with the kind of a sentiment which has been created or a news which are being created in the market, I think that those markets start reacting negatively. But having said that, long term, I think markets are always follow fundamentals. And long term, if I'm talking, it's 1, 3, and 5 year, not below 1 year, not below 3 year. And that's what one should start looking at it. As on today, if you really see, I think we are seeing lots of corporate results and result season. And if you really look at it, most of the corporates, more specifically in mid cap and small cap size, whichever companies are declaring their results are reasonably good, according to expectation, or in few cases better than expectations. So I think those kind of creating a boost in the sentiment, and that's what is reflecting in this market today.
Okay, let's divvy up some of those segments. Let's talk about banking and what you're making of some of those earnings so far, or what you're expecting from the BFSI pack, because there's been an expectation that a lot of growth is going to come out of this pocket.
Yeah, absolutely right. I mean, banking and finance sector is something which is always, work and work along with the economy. And if you really see overall economy growth, I think India is a growth story and in long-term economic growth story. More specifically, in overall perspective, if I look at it, I mean, global growth, I think one of the largest economy which is going to grow in our global perspective. If I look at it, we are expecting between 5.9 to 6.2% kind of a growth this year again, coming year, and this financial year, I would say, and absolutely clean. And I think now from here onwards, what you can see and expect is a good amount of growth in this sector. And we are also bullish on that.
Okay, Axis, of course, on your screen because they reported a loss. But that's on account of the acquisition cost for Citi's consumer business during the quarter. Otherwise, NIMs were actually up 73 basis points year on year, so pretty stable at that, and asset quality also improved for the bank. So that's Axis. Maruti is also in news today. Numbers coming in. Net profit actually jumping this time around, so good quarter. But while there's been a lot of talk from the management in terms of the kind of volumes they're looking to hit going forward, markets is not entirely convinced.
So, Abha, I think, I mean, my view is now is a time when, as we all know, there are lots of technological changes and overall changes which is also happening, from an EV vehicle perspective. But I think that era is going to still take time. But lots of demand is also being created, more specifically in two-wheeler and three-wheeler side, and which is going to probably sustain over a period of time. So I feel auto industry again is going to grow with a good space. And this is the sector, again, from long-term 3 year perspective, one should start looking at it if it is not been looked at as of now. Yes, we have seen a little bit challenging quarter in the past, but I believe from this quarter onwards, things will start improving over there in auto industry.
Okay, so things looking up for quarter.
Government policies are being designed, the way government investments are flowing towards infrastructure. I am 100% in agreement with you. that this story is going to stay persist for a long-term perspective, because India is a story where lots of changes and improvements are being required on infrastructure side. And if I say, and if I see, lots of capital investments is happening in infrastructure, which is largely from government and followed by various different corporates. So I think this story is going to stay persist from a long-term perspective also.
All right. Couple of big deals. There was the Raymond Godrej deal yesterday. I just was interested to get your thoughts on it. Not from a stock standpoint, but just from the way we're seeing M&A activity building up, and particularly when it comes to the consumer segment once again. And like you just said, the story is going to be driven by the consumer going forward. What did you make of that particular deal in terms of the size, the pricing, the kind of market it really creates?
So as I said, I think we are completely bullish on consumer story and consumption story. So I think apart from us, all of Informed Circle and whosoever is really watching this economy's growth on a long-term perspective are looking at that space very clearly. And to my mind, I think these are going to go give good amount of return and return over a period of time. And that's the reason these kind of evaluation which you are looking at do not see that they are expensive. I would say reasonable, and I think long-term basis pay. I think one should definitely keep a watch, and I believe that there are going to be good return can be procured and generate over a period of time from consumption story also, and in these kind of sectors. Yeah.
All right, Pradeep, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us and taking us through your latest strategy.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
All right, market steady at this hour. Looks like it's going to be a good close this Friday. Some of those deal makers are having a bit of a cool off after yesterday, but overall it looks like a good trading week for the index. Holding steady there, Sensex well close to 500 points higher this Friday. Thanks for watching.
I have three stellar members of